Welcome to Inside the Summit League. Tom Neiman along with Brad Newett. Going to talk some hoops from this past weekend as we hit the holiday break here. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. There's a lot going on in the world of basketball.
There really is, yeah. We get a break, obviously, for a couple days here, and then some more games before or after Christmas. Yeah. And then we get into the league season starting on January 2nd this year is when the Summit League season starts. Let's take a look at the men's standings right now in men's basketball in the league. And South Dakota State is up there at 9-3. A little bit of a surprise, aren't they?
I think a little bit of a surprise. They've played well without George Marshall, their transfer from Wisconsin, and then they got him in the lineup and they started playing really well. Went out and won at Utah State. So they're a team that's starting to kind of get some pieces put together. All
right, the Jacks at 9-3 right now. Fort Wayne, one of the league favorites, coming in at 6-4. They've had a couple of close losses there. Let's talk about North Dakota State. Took on Akron, a team that was number 12 in the mid-major poll. 0 Summit League teams in the mid-major poll, by the way. That's kind of where we stand right now. But the Bison win this one 55-46. Basically played 5 guys, didn't shoot the ball very well, but they win.
They win because they're doing it with defense, Tom. They're second in the conference and giving up only 64 points a game, and so they're really doing it on the defensive end. They're also doing a great job with ball control. They're taking care of the basketball, so they're doing the things they need to do to win games with that limited lineup.
Lawrence Alexander had 22 in this one. Dexter Werner, 16 rebounds, 8 offensive boards in this one as the Bison win. NDSU will open the league season at home against Oral Roberts and South Dakota State. We'll have those games on Midco Sports Network. We'll be up in Fargo for those. Omaha, meanwhile, let's talk about the Mavericks. They beat Northern Colorado out of the Big Sky, 92-82. Devin Patterson, C.J. Carter, Marcus Tyus, their 3-guard lineup, leading the way again.
Leading the way, and Omaha does it with offense. That's their bread and butter. They lead the league in scoring, and so when they can get it rolling offensively, get the high possession game going, Tom, that really does favor them.
They made 9 threes in this game, shot at 55%. Jake White, their transfer out of Wichita State, has been out until a couple of games ago, but he's on his way back as well.
And he's going to add a lot of defensive presence for them and rebounding presence. Nice size at 6'10", and I think he's certainly going to help their team, no doubt about it.
Omaha will open at South Dakota in a Summit League play. How about the Coyotes, Newett? They beat Montana State 55-53. Ugly game. USD shoots it 30%. Brandon Bosch, 17 points, hits a go-ahead jumper at the end, and the Coyotes win it.
Well, Brandon Bosch is carrying this team offensively, and they are struggling to score, but they are playing very well defensively, and they're a very gritty team. Craig Smith's instilled that within them, and so they're a team I think you got to watch out for here. They're getting better and better the more they play under this new head coach. I think they can make some noise in the Summit League.
Coyotes 5 wins so far. They've had some inside issues, but they get Tyler Flack back in the lineup as we hit the new year. Denver, this is their 3rd game already this year with 80-plus points. They lose to Colorado State 85-84. It's the first time Joe Scott is their head coach. First time for a Joe Scott team when they've scored 80-plus points that they have lost a game. They are 19-1, or Joe Scott is 19-1 as the head coach. They don't score a lot of points, but they come within a point here of Colorado State. They made 17 threes in this game.
Very rare for them to lose a game where they shoot the basketball that well because they really do control possession and tempo, and so when they shoot it well from the perimeter, they're such a tough team to beat. Almost knocked off Colorado State, though.
They had 31 three-point shots, 7 free throws attempts in this game.
And that's who they are. They are a jump-shooting team. They're not a team that really attacks the basket. They don't have a lot of size, so they expect their perimeter guys to really lead them in scoring.
All right, IUPUI was taking on South Alabama, and the Jags win their 3rd game here. Marcellus Barksdale, Mason Archie, probably the 2 guys you're going to hear a lot about from IUPUI.
And they're a team that is really still trying to find its identity, especially on the offensive end. That's where their struggles have been, and it's because they're not getting a lot of perimeter scoring. So if those 2 guys can really step up their game, that'll help IUPUI get some traction.
And then Fort Wayne knew it. Come within 3 points. They lose to Valparaiso 75-72. Led this game by 5 with about 6 minutes to go. Steve Forbes did not play, the big man for Fort Wayne, but they come close to Valpo.
That would have been a huge win for Fort Wayne, especially without Forbes in the lineup, because we know he's their anchor. Their offense really plays through him. They're a team, though, that is really playing well offensively. They've had some tough losses to some high-profile teams. And I still think they're the favorite coming into the men's side of the Summit League race.
All right. Fort Wayne at 6-4, as you said, losses to Georgia Tech and Purdue, 2 of those losses. A couple of good games after Christmas. South Dakota State's at Northern Iowa. St. Joseph's out of the Atlantic 10 goes and plays at Denver. And then we get the league season going on January 2nd. Let's talk about the women here quickly, Newett, and look at the standings. South Dakota, the defending tournament champions. South Dakota State, the defending league regular season champions, up there at the top. Talk about the Jackrabbits, first of all, knocked off Arkansas Little Rock 67-42 up in Brookings.
That was a great win. Arkansas Little Rock is a very respected mid-major program, and South Dakota State just absolutely locked them down defensively. And when South Dakota State can do that to teams, they are a very dominant team. We've seen that through the years in the Summit League.
Ellie Thompson had 11 rebounds in this one. The Jacks out-rebound Little Rock 47-24. Jacks had 28 turnovers, and they win by 25.
Yeah, and it's because they dominate the glass so much, and they can overcome some of those mistakes when they play that way.
All right, IUPUI was at home against Evansville. The Jags win this one by 12. Akila Sims with 20, Nevin Amarkovic with 14. IUPUI is very deep this year. They played 11 in this game. What do you think about IUPUI?
Well, they need Sims to really start playing well on the offensive end. Markovic's the only double-figure score they have per game on their team offensively, so they need their offense to come along more. They're always a great defensive team. They love to pressure, like to force the tempo, but they need that offense to come along.
All right, and then the Coyotes, we had North Dakota, a very good team, defending Big Sky champions. South Dakota, again, the Summer League tournament champions, but South Dakota wins at 86-81. UND led by 9 at the half, but the Coyotes come back and win.
They're very good on their home floor. They've won 7 games in a row, so Amy Williams has her squad really playing well, and they're such a good offensive team, Tom. They're 11th in the country in points per game at over 84, and so when they get it going and get the tempo up, that really does favor them.
Rachel Contreras had 29 points in this one. Taya Miller, very good point guard for the Coyotes, 10 points and 8 rebounds. And then just quickly on Western Illinois, I think they're the team to watch. They're at 6-5 right now. They lost at Marquette, but by just 8 points. Ashley Luke, 17 points and 12 rebounds. Western Illinois, I think, is the sleeper on the women's side.
I would actually agree with you. And Ashley Luke is obviously a dominant player. We know what she can do. I think the big question for them is, can a supporting cast come alongside her, Tom? Give just a little bit of that support, take some of the pressure off of her. If so, Western Illinois could be a very dangerous team.
All right, as we hit the new year, we'll have Coach Newitt back and take a look at where teams are at again as we start the league season in the Summit League on January 2nd. When we come back on Inside the Summit League, the state of the Summit with Commissioner Tom Douple.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Welcome back. Summit League Commissioner Tom Douple is celebrating his 10th anniversary. I think he's celebrating anyway, his 10th anniversary as Commissioner of the Summit League. Here's another look at our interview with the Commissioner from October and how there could be some big changes coming in the next year in college athletics, not in membership, but in governance of leagues like the Summit League and the possibility in the future of added benefits for student athletes. It revolves around 2 concepts that he'll talk about: autonomy and cost of attendance. This past August, the NCAA Division I Board of Directors voted to allow the schools in the top 5 conferences in the country to govern themselves and to write many of their own rules. They are known as the Big Five and include the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the ACC, and the SEC conferences. And what they were granted is known as autonomy. Autonomy allows those conferences to decide on things such as extra payments for athletes and insurance benefits for players. Now, this has created some concern in leagues like the Summit League that those power programs would take advantage and create an even bigger competitive and financial gap between them and us. But Tom Douple says that so far, the Summit and other mid-major leagues have made an effort to ensure that the Big Five don't overrun the rest of Division I.
We set out some goals as a subgroup, the FCS Division I group, that we put to the Big Five, and over that course of time negotiated, and we think we accomplished all of our goals. There'll be some permissive legislation that the Big Five want to introduce that maybe some of our members want to partake in, and we'll see what that is for the future.
Now, one example of permissive legislation is the idea to pay student athletes to bridge the gap in what has become known as cost of attendance. A full athletic scholarship covers tuition and books and meals and room and board.
But beyond that, you have incidental expenses, your laundry and some other hidden expenses that you have, and that's what the cost of attendance. Each school has their own formula to reach a cost of attendance, and in our league it can be anywhere from $1,500 above a full scholarship all the way up to $3,000. And what they want to do is be able to offer that to, the student athletes.
Now, the Big Five have already made this proposal. It would have to be approved at the NCAA convention in January. If it does come to a point where Summit League schools would pay cost of attendance, Douple says it would not be a league mandate, but would be up to each member school in the league to decide whether they have the funds available and whether they want to do it or not. Well, up next, some of the best Summit League stories from 2014, starting with a young man in Denver fighting a deadly disease, taken in as a member of the team by the Pioneer men's soccer squad.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Welcome back. Well, every week on the show here we have a story called the Campus Spotlight. It's done by one of our member schools, and this was one of the best from 2014. It's about a grade school boy in Denver who is taken in as part of the team by a Summit League soccer program.
One of the key members of the University of Denver men's soccer team won't score a goal this season. He won't have an assist or make a defensive stop. He will, however, bring determination and a fighting spirit to the Pioneers in a way most people cannot fathom. He is Ben Brewer, and he is a Pioneer.
Every time he's around, there's a special feeling. And I'll tell you, the guys ask constantly how he's doing. They reach out to Ben. He's part of the family, I guess is the right way of saying it.
Ben is a fighter. He was diagnosed with neuroblastoma when he was just 2.5 and has been in tough, painful treatments ever since. But during training camp for the Pioneers in Vail, Colorado, Ben Brewer, who came in touch with the Pioneers coaching staff through Team Impact, signed with the University of Denver.
We've been waiting a long time, Ben, to do this. So officially what we want you to do, Ben, I speak for all of these guys that are out here that are going to be working hard together with you, to sign your national letter of intent right there, young man, right, and join the family officially. It just happens to be that it's 2014, Ben, and that number was available, so we would like you to honor us and wear a 2014 jersey this season. What do you think? All right, okay.
Ben's mom, Sarah, was happy to have her son become part of the Pioneers family and had to fight back the tears when she addressed the team.
Ben has been in treatment for a really horrible cancer since he was 2 years old, and he's been fighting for his life off and on for the past 10 years. So for him to be a part of a team when he's never been able to participate in team sports or anything like that before because he's been in horrible treatments, very painful treatments, long treatments. It's amazing. And I'm going to cry, I'm sorry. But thank you. Thank you so much.
From a shy, quiet observer to a growing presence on the bench, Ben has assimilated in splendid fashion with his teammates.
He's starting to talk on the bench. Every once in a while I'll be quiet and I hear Ben down there and I'll say, "You're right, Ben. You're right, Ben." Just the one thing that we've learned a lot about Ben is we've liked him. We would have liked him to walk out with the starters, and he doesn't like attention. You know what I mean? I think he's like what we look for in our student athletes. It's about the team and just being around the team and being a part of the team, and I think that makes him very special.
A bad practice or a bad game seems so minuscule in like the big scheme of things. Just seeing what Ben's going through and what he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis makes our challenges and our struggles so little compared to what he goes through.
While head coach Bobby Muse knew that Ben would be a positive influence on his team, he didn't realize he was also adding an assistant coach.
And like the other day, he's on the bench at 0-0 in a tough game against New Hampshire. He's like, "We just need one goal." And I'm like, "Yes, we do, Ben." You know what I mean? And so Ben's become a little bit of another coach on the bench down there. He doesn't like when the team turns over the ball. He gets upset. I hear him chirping to himself down at the end of the bench. But I think he's, I've said it from the beginning. We have a special group of young men, and I think Ben's a special young man, and I think it's the right fit. And know about the game. I think more importantly, if he falls in love with soccer, that's great. But to be an inspiration to our guys and our guys to be an inspiration to him, it makes it that much special.
After the break, another spotlight story worth seeing again. A Summit League basketball player using her talent in art to help young hospital patients through tough times.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Well, Merry Christmas. Gifts are for giving, and our next campus spotlight story fits right in with the Christmas spirit. It's about a Summit League basketball player with a talent for art and a heart for helping others.
This is the Megan Stuart everyone is familiar with, a 6'2" senior forward from Roseville, Minnesota. But there's more to Stuart than basketball, a lot more. Stuart has a double major, biology and pre-medicine. But it's her love for art that has helped her make a difference. It's a talent that she did not discover until her junior year of high school.
It was kind of funny because I had a choice between physics and art class, and physics would have helped with my biology degree, like kind of preparing me for it, and it probably would have been a better choice. But looking back, I'm so glad I chose the art classes because I had a great art teacher. I just learned a lot from him, and he really sparked my passion a lot.
She puts her talents to good use, finding ways to make a positive impact both on campus and throughout the region.
The reactions that my art can have for people, I think, is just really special, and that's why I do it. That's why, I love art, because it can help put a smile on other people's faces.
Through her art classes, she received an email about a unique internship, a life-changing opportunity combining her talents and interests.
I got the Sanford Arts one, and I got so excited. I called my mom right away, and I said, this is it. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. I have to do this.
What I've seen with her is a natural kind of ability to work with people. Her enthusiasm for the art and for the work has allowed her to work with kind of anybody. So you saw that she worked well in children's, she works well with adults, and it's because she understands how beneficial the art is.
We've taught little kids how to mix colors, and that experience in itself is really cool to see their eyes they just get so excited when they see orange come from red and yellow. A lot of it is trying to find little things that would make them smile. Like for a little girl, you pick something with glitter, and that would just make them open up. Or you ask them what their favorite color is, and they get really excited about pink.
Stuart has literally traveled around the world to showcase her art. But the most important piece she ever did was during her time at Sanford over the summer. A 4-year-old girl named Alexis was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor. She was understandably nervous going through test after test. So Stuart painted a mask of her favorite Disney character, Elsa, from the movie Frozen, which gave Alexis strength during her difficult time.
It makes what she's going through a little less terrifying because she loves Elsa and it's her hero. And we've done other masks like that before. I haven't, but where they've done Superman or they've done Iron Man for little boys, and I think that's huge.
She started seeing the mask on and that she was being a superhero. She was more excited. Had to show everybody that came.
When Alexis saw it, all of the rad techs said that her face just lit up, and at that point, then that they kind of forget about what they're about to do because they think they're Elsa or they think they're a Marvel hero.
But Stuart also works on projects for her friends and family.
I just really, really like to paint and to see the reactions of people. And I've done a lot of portraits for people. I did my basketball coach's son.
It just grabbed you because it looks so much like Dylan. It has the facial expressions that he would have. He's just a happy-go-lucky, smiling little boy. And Megan really captured it in a really neat painting. So it was just a little bit of an overwhelming experience. I think somebody would take the time to do that for our family.
And Stuart says her internship at the Sanford Children's Hospital reaffirmed her desire to work in medicine after she graduates.
Being in the healthcare setting here has really inspired me even more to try and go on to that challenge of med school, and I really would love to do that. After working in this awesome children's hospital, pediatrics is just something I really, really want to look into.
Thanks to Tyler, Merriam, and Brookings for that story. Coming up next, some of the plays of the year so far in the Summit League.
Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort and Dakota Land Honda. Inside the Summit League on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Health and your Heartland Chevy dealers.
Well, congratulations to our Summit League champions, tournament champions so far this season. IUPUI in South Dakota in cross country, South Dakota State and Denver in soccer, and Denver in women's volleyball. And here are some of the plays of the year that led up to those championships. We'll see you next week on Inside of the Summit League.
Paul steps up and she's put the ball in the back of the net, and the celebrations can begin. South Dakota State are the champions.